Aloha, you are locked into the Pleasant Podcast. It has been a while. I'm your host, Avery, of course, coming from an undisclosed coffee shop here in downtown Bowie, Ohio. And I have a special guest, a very mysterious man that sits in front of me. Sir, what is your name, and what is the name of the band that you're associated with?
Wes Meadows, and I'm in All Over the Place, 1098, Younger, Mecca G, and about 15 others.
Damn.
Yeah.
What type of music do you guys make?
Well, it kind of falls under just rock. You can throw indie on it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, All Over the Place started off as like a band that I wrote all the cool parts on trumpet because I couldn't play guitar, and I was really good at trumpet. So I put a lot of trumpets and trombones and stuff into our music, and then someone said, "Hey, you guys like ska? You guys are a ska band," and I was like, "What's ska?" And then like I found like Keys Be Nights, and I found like the Aquabats second album, and it was like, "Whoa, this is amazing. I guess we are a ska band." And then we were a ska band for like 2 years, and then we started writing songs that weren't ska, and now I think we play like 3 or 4 seconds of ska in our normal set, and everything else is not ska. So we've officially changed our genre on Facebook to not ska.
Very good, very good.
So,
very nice. Yeah.
I guess that was a roundabout way of saying All Over the Place is not ska.
Not ska. Very good. It is a alternative indie rock band that has a trumpet, but just because it's like when you have how square can be a rectangle, but a rectangle can't be a square.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
Like, we've got the gear to play ska, we just don't anymore.
Exactly. Exactly. How did you guys meet? Because I know that the show recently, if you guys don't live in Lake County, the band All Over the Place and my band Not in the Daily and a few others played a show somewhat recently. You guys were really, really good. And a lot of people were asking me, like, how did they meet? How did they find you? How did this whole thing work? It's like, dude, it was magic. I don't know, man. The wonders of Facebook.
Yeah, it's all about the wonders of Facebook. I met 4 people in high school that like were really good friends of mine, really good musicians, and I was in a band at the time, and we didn't play any shows. We played like 1 or 2 shows every year.
Yeah.
And it was like we were just looking forward to the Tri-C High School Rock-Off all year, and it's like, oh, this is the only thing we're going to do. And it's like, well, but why? Why is that the only thing we're going to do? We could play house venues. We could, play, like, there are so many places in our town that we could play, and we wouldn't have to, like, pay money. We wouldn't have to ask people. We wouldn't have to do anything except, tell all our friends. And they were all like, oh, I don't know, house shows, it's kind of sketchy. I'm going to have to ask my mom, because we were all like 16.
Oh,
and like
yeah.
They literally did have to ask their
Yeah,
moms. Like,
yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
saying like, oh, these guys were babies.
No.
Their parents might have been babies a little bit. But like, my mom also didn't understand shows for a while. She was just sort of like, oh, I don't know, there's going to be drugs and beer. And it's like, well, they don't allow drinking if you're under 21. And they don't do drugs. Like, it's that you don't do that at shows. That's like the rule.
Right.
So eventually, like, she started letting us host shows at her house, and All Over the Place played their first couple shows in my mom's garage and other garages. After a couple months, people dropped, like, they went to college, or they decided that the music wasn't for them, or like they decided that, playing music for an hour a week with your friends is too much, pressure.
Damn. Wow.
But I mean, like, sometimes I don't understand the reason this people leave. But sometimes, I mean, like, the most recent member change was over the summer. Our sax player Andy of over 5 years moved to New Mexico to start a new job, and it was like, well, what am I gonna do? Am I gonna tell you stay home? He was like, no, I'm dropping out all over the place for this. You guys can fill my slot, whatever. Like, maybe I'll come back sometime, but
Right.
I need to go do this thing in my life. It's
Right.
like, yeah, dude, do it. We've really had to kick out members because of, like, drug abuse problems or, like, being, like, really, really inappropriate. But,
Yeah.
like, it's not, like, unheard of. Over
Yeah.
time, we've had, like, 25 members, and, like, people have left for various reasons. Some I'm happier about than others. But right now, all the people that are in the band, they weren't in there when we started. None of the original
Really?
members except me are in the band.
Wow. So
Mhm.
you're the main front man.
Yeah, I write most of the lyrics, and I write my guitar parts. But Kellen and Jesse and Noah and recently Rachel and Joey who weren't at the show the other day, but they live in Columbus and they have school and work and stuff, and they can't come up for every show, but it's really fun. And then we've got 2 other members that are fairly new. Cy, he's a tuba player. He dots the I for OSU.
Dude.
Big friggin' deal. It's
what?
awesome. Yeah.
What?
He's the tuba player. And he writes all our horn arrangements.
Dude.
Yeah, like, I'll give him, like, the song,
yeah.
and just, like, my trumpet part, and he'll write a tuba part, and he'll write a sax part, and he'll write a trombone part, and he'll write a baritone part, and he'll write a second trumpet part.
Now, how many horn players are in the band?
On a good day, 4.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That is really cool.
And on a good day, we've got 3 guitarists, too.
That's now. Were you in marching band
yes.
all in high school? All right, cool. So
that's where we got most of the horn players.
Yeah, that's why this makes sense.
Yeah.
For Not on the Daily, Jericho and I were center snare. He was center snare for a few years. Then when he graduated, I got promoted up to center snare.
My first drummer was center snare, Aaron Caranow Schuler, back in the Dizzity.
Yeah, man.
And even our drummer now, Jesse. He was a choir kid. He's got a piano background a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
The first time he was on an All Over the Place album, he was an assistant in the studio. It was my mom's garage. He was just a guy with better equipment than me.
Everybody's got that.
Yeah, but he came in to figure out how to be in a studio and not fuck everything up. And
exactly.
He ended up playing piano on one of our tracks because our keyboard player came in and did it in one take and was like, yeah, this is good, I like this. And then I listened to it back and he was like, this is not good. This is not. I don't like this actually. And Jesse was like, well, okay, it's in C. There's one black key in this whole song. Okay, give me 2 minutes, and it's perfect. And I've been working with Jesse ever since. Pretty much every band I'm in, Jesse's been in at some point. Mm-hmm. I'm in a proggy metal band where he's transitioning into becoming our drummer, so that our drummer can go back to playing bass, so that I can go back to playing guitar.
You guys are just doing a shift change.
Yeah.
Oh man.
He's in 10-9-8 with me and Kellen from All Over the Place. Mm-hmm. It's like if you took the horns and the grandiose out of All Over the Place and just made it very straightforward, fast, riffy rock. Mm-hmm. Kellen's a fantastic songwriter. I could go on about him all day. But there are so many different projects within the band, but I guess All Over the Place is the central, for me at least. I'm sure everyone else probably prioritizes their projects differently. Right. I don't know if anyone else is All Over the Place is my main. Actually. Kellen, Jesse, and Noah, they do all of the stuff with me. Even Noah goes to sessions even when he doesn't have recording to do. He'll just go and he'll hang out.
That's
and
supportive, dude.
Yeah, and there's a lot of writing and riffing and ribbing. We like to make fun of each other a lot in the studio. Hey, Noah says that one was terrible and you should do it all again and be ashamed of yourselves. Stuff yeah. We've been working with a couple producers recently. Tyler Schulte, he's our I guess he's our guitarist and keyboard player. He doesn't play shows because he lives in Chillicothe, and that's even farther than Columbus and Athens. And his job is at the recording workshop. He's there 12 hours a day. And, he's working super hard, and he's amazing. He's the best producer I've ever worked with. And, we were equals or contemporaries in college, but I play shows every 3 days, and I record when I can. And he records every day, and he is amazing at it. He is so great at it. Anytime I have a project okay, I really need to pour it on for this one, and I don't trust myself to mix myself, I go to Tyler, and Tyler does everything perfectly the first time. For the All Over the Place full length, we finished tracking 4 days before it came out.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Efficiency.
Yeah, we tracked it all together, and then we went down to the recording workshop, and we worked all day on mixing it and stuff. This was 2 days after we'd sent him the stuff, and I was hearing guitar parts that weren't mine, I was hearing key parts that weren't mine, vocal parts that weren't mine.
Yeah.
He had recorded all of the parts to this album that he hadn't heard before, more than a couple practices that he was able to make it to.
Yeah. In
2 days, he just recorded all of his parts in this free time. When you're working 12-hour days, how much free time do you want to spend noodle doodling? Apparently a lot.
Right.
But the album came out the day after. We mixed it and mastered it that day, took it home, put it on Bandcamp as soon as we got Wi-Fi.
Holy shit.
And I had zero complaints. I listened back to it, and I listened back to it a month later, and I listened back to it a year later, and I'm like, damn, this is a great album. And honestly, that doesn't happen very often. I don't know if you're the same way.
No, I understand.
You listen to something you did a year ago, and you're like, wow, I could have done a lot better.
Yeah.
But this album, okay, maybe I could have done a lot better, but Tyler did fantastic.
Dude, I feel that. How do you think the music scene is in Ohio as a whole? Because in our neck of the woods right now, it's pretty much non-existent except outside of what we're doing.
Cleveland-ish. Like, but, if you're not in Cleveland, and even Cleveland now, where are you gonna play? The Grog Shop, the Agora, or Beachland? The Symposium? It's like there are only a couple places that will rent out to local bands that local bands can actually fill. Like, there are a lot of huge cap rooms around here, but we're not really looking for that.
Right.
On a good day, all over the place can bring like 50, maybe if we really promote. It's not like, oh man, we need the Agora. We just need something.
Right.
And Eddie over at Blank Slate, Eddie and Jackie and Chris.
Yeah, Blank Slate is fucking awesome.
Everyone over at Blank Slate is amazing. And then I went to Duck House last night. It's and you get off 71 on Pearl, and you just go down a couple blocks. It's right there. It's in the historic district or something. And I've never been to it before, but it was a wonderful house venue. Everything had ducks on it. Everyone was just fantastic, and I'd never played with any of them before. And it's like, wow, there is still stuff to discover in Cleveland. We're just not in touch with the right people. But I think our goal is to be in touch with those people, connecting the Willoughby scene to the Cleveland scene, to the Berea scene, to the Elyria scene, to the Akron scene. Getting it all.
Getting the network.
It's important to network because all of our tiny little scenes are tiny right now, and we need to, I don't want to be that guy oh yeah, music was better when I was in high school. But I feel like it might just be me looking back on it with a jaded perspective. But I remember when we would have a house show and we wouldn't make a Facebook event. We'd make 100 flyers, and the day before the show we'd just throw them all in the hallway.
A bunch of people.
Yeah, just text some people, text our friends and stuff, and throw a bunch of flyers in the hallway, and boom, there'd be 50 people at this house show, no problem.
Yeah.
And I feel like that doesn't happen anymore. I feel like a lot of bands that were started in high school in Berea, or where they go to Columbus for college or something, and they just stop. And I feel like there's a big bubbling under high school kids that have nothing to do kind of market.
Exactly.
When I was in high school, there was a teacher, Chris Reynolds, who would do a thing he called the Blur. It was a poetry magazine that came out twice yearly, but once a year he would rent out on his own dime 5 hours of studio time in a quality studio with Chris Keffer, Magnetic North. And
wow.
Yeah. I'm talking he dropped $200, $300, $400 out of his own pocket, and said hey, all of these bands that I'm seeing around this school, I want you to come record a song. And he gave everyone half an hour of recording time, and that was the first time I ever recorded. And I was so nervous, and you could hear my voice shaking, and the guy was like, "You want to hear that back?" It's no. Can I just do another song? And I just played 4 songs live in a row, and then I was like, "Oh my god, I'm so nervous." But everyone really fostered it, and they were like, "Oh man, that was really good. I hadn't heard those songs before. I was really excited and stuff." And I'm looking back on those recordings, and I know they weren't very good. On my end, Chris Keffer's fantastic.
Aren't you at least glad that those experiences happened?
Oh, I'm so glad that those experiences happened. Because
learned from that.
And there are bands that I'm sure you have these bands they play and you're underwhelmed. It's wow, this isn't really that good. But and then you see them a year later and they're amazing. And it's
damn,
oh my god, I'm
were,
so glad that I booked this band and I got to
yeah.
see this progression.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
And Eddie talks a lot about that too. Book any band. If they want to play and they want to promote and they want to better themselves, book them.
Right.
That's it.
In our area, it's not a problem of getting the bands. It's more of a problem of the only thing that we have is that it has to be all original. So it's okay, no covers, because this entire strip is nothing but covers. And that's where
the juxtaposition is important.
Right. And that's where everyone gets very uppity, because then that's where money gets involved. They're like, yeah, we're going to play for 4 hours and we are a Doors cover band. It was like, well, one, I would go to a Doors concert. Two, just no. You know what I mean? It's like the whole reason.
The Doors don't have 4 hours of music. I guarantee you're jamming for at least 3/4 of it.
Exactly. Like, we are here to try to, like, give people that, like you said, like, that platform, like doing the Arabica nights, you know, every other Friday. It's like, for those kids that do go to South or North or Menor or whatever, giving them something to do, or like even the bands that go with me to Lakeland, it's just like, okay, cool, you work a shitty job, I know, an 8-hour day, you know, or like if you work a double, you know, and you spend a lot of your hard-earned time or spare time writing music about your day or something, why not come out and, you know, promote that rather than some crap that's already out. It's like, because those people, like, people that cover the Beatles, it's like, the Beatles spent their whole life becoming the Beatles. Why would you want to follow in their footsteps when you can, you know what I mean? People should be covering your music instead of you covering their music, you know?
I was totally guilty of that as a youngin' too, and I didn't really grasp the importance of it. My first couple shows, I wasn't proud of my originals. I had like 4 or 5 of them, but I didn't want to play them yet. So I played like one original song that like I wrote like with Peter Harmon, who I live with now, and then I'd play like 5 covers, and you know, wouldn't you know it, I think 3 of them were Beatles songs, and then a Pink Floyd song and a Coldplay song, because I am diverse.
There you go. Yeah,
I like classic rock and contemporary indie. Ooh.
Look at this guy.
Look at me. But yeah, like and then you know, people were like, oh, you know, but you wrote these songs, you should play them. But as soon as like, it makes you more nervous to play things that you did, like for sure. Like when I'm in a band that I didn't write any of the lyrics, I didn't write any of the music, I walked in and I recorded my bass part, or I walked in and I recorded my trumpet part. Yeah. I have no fear. I can play those shows, and I'm not nervous at all, and I know my part. I've played my part before. I'm gonna go do it. Like Down They Fall or Flashback Humor or something.
That's really interesting.
But all over the place, I puke before I play. I'd say like half the time.
Really? Dude?
Yeah, like I get so worked up in my brain about like, what if people don't like my stuff? And like, what if something that I can't control goes wrong because there are 7 people behind me? Like, what if, and I kill myself with these what ifs. The show's always fun. As soon as like I start, I'm much better. But like sometimes I just need to get the anxiety out. As soon as I puke, drink a cup of water, and it's like, all right, hit the stage, let's go. It's rock and roll time. Don't be a baby. Let's go. Right. And like I know that's my dad talking like, don't be a baby. Like well, like when I hear myself say those things to myself, like as a person with like huge anxiety and depression issues, I hear my dad like, suck it up, be a man, boys, don't cry. And it's like, man.
It's like you want to prove those sorts of people wrong.
Oh yeah. Because like, I mean, I'm also non-binary. Like, pronouns are a free-for-all. He, him, they, them, she, her. I don't care. But I feel like my dad was always harping on me to be a man. And, like, anytime I do something feminine, he thought it would be so funny. Like, I used to wear jewelry. Yeah. And he thought that was very funny. So I didn't wear jewelry anymore. And I used to, like, you know, put my hair up. He thought that was really funny. So I didn't do that anymore. And it's just like, he never said anything mean. He just thought, you know, oh, boys being feminine is silly.
Right,
it's like,
Interesting.
Now, for those at home, I rolled my eyes really hard. You can't see it.
Yeah, you guys can't see it, but believe me, it's definitely happening.
Yeah, this conversation kind of got off the rails. But where are we going with this?
It's okay. Because seriously, some days we end up talking about quantum physics. Other days we talk about politics. The other day we were talking about how electricity is found in everything, and like
we keep going on this. I'm just gonna keep talking about dead people. We gotta go like.
It's all right. It's totally cool. Where do you see, if not your band, just music in general from a corporate and indie perspective in the next 5 years?
Corporate music is dead. It's already dead. Corporate music at this point is beating a dead horse. People like Beyonce. People like, you know, the big pop acts are releasing their own albums independently with their own promotion and like hiring their own people to do this stuff. And it's not DIY. It's a far cry from like, you know, buying a Focusrite and recording to
In
a
a
4-track
basement.
in your
Yeah.
basement.
Yeah.
But it's a shift. It's Kesha winning her argument over hey, my producer actually assaulted me and you need to listen to me.
Damn.
And she did. I think she's getting the rights to her music back. And I'll tell you what, one of my favorite bands, Streetlight Manifesto, had this big problem with their record label. They got signed when they were 19. They didn't know what they were doing. And here they are 35, and the label's still asking, where's the next album, where's the next album, where's the next album? They've given them 5 full lengths. And after, due consideration, the label considered 2 of them cover albums, even though one of them was written completely by the singer.
Dude, I love Streetlight, man.
Yeah, Streetlight's great. And Keys Be Nights is a redo, but it's not a cover album. And it was amazing. And it sold pretty darn well for Victory.
Yeah.
So, and that didn't absolve them. So, it's kind of ridiculous. The stories I hear about working with labels...
Or large labels, yeah.
Large labels, or even just labels that got too big too quick. Like, I'd say I don't want to. God, I love this guy, but he's under the bus right now. Calvin Johnson from K Records apparently owes Kimya Dawson and like Phil Elverum of the Microphones like tens of thousands of dollars. Like, K Records is essentially bankrupt because they got so big so quick, and the guy was, just, oh, hey, I've got, all this money, I'm going to make more records, I'm going to do more promo, I'm going to blah, blah, blah. And then he realizes, oh my gosh, I spent all the money.
Yeah.
And I didn't make all of it back.
Yeah.
And now I owe all these people so much money.
Yeah.
And, like, there are so many different, like, if you work with a record label, there are, risks. Like, if they're big enough, that they can mess with you. You got to get an attorney involved. You got to read that contract.
You should have your shit copywritten first.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
A lot of bands completely forget.
Well, I mean, copyright in 2017 is very different because if you put it on Bandcamp, if you put it on SoundCloud, it automatically gives it a Creative Commons license and a timestamp.
Really?
Yeah, really. You put your music on Bandcamp, like, hey, I wrote a song today. I put it on Bandcamp. I gave it a Creative Commons non-attribution, non-commercial share-alike license. People can cover it if they want, but if they make money off it, they got to give it to me. Like, copywriting your material isn't really necessary anymore so long as you do that. If you can prove that you were the first person to put this music somewhere, it's like that poor man's copyright that like you used
mail
to hear.
it to yourself.
You used to hear that going around. Like, if you can prove with a timestamp that you were the first one to have this, then it's yours.
Right.
But like, apparently that's kind of like. You can't really trust that completely.
I still have a lot of my stuff at the Library of Congress, like fully. Like I paid for that.
Yeah, what is that? Like $17 a song?
$35 for a single. Yeah, and then I got all the logos done, and I'm getting the whole album completely finished before we play it at any shows.
Well, I mean,
like
I'm going about this a different way because I hope we get sued. I hope someone steals my stuff and I get to fight with someone. I want to make that like Black Forge Coffee House in Pittsburgh. I'm just naming names today.
Dude, yeah, name dropping, dude. Do you want me to blur out any of them?
No.
All right.
Black Forge Coffee House is doing the right thing right now. They have a punch card. Every time you get a coffee, you get a punch card. And all the little holes that you get to punch are fascists. They're all, Donald Trump is the last one before you get a free coffee.
That is awesome.
And they are facing so much flack. In the last, 2 days, they've gotten, 576 one-star reviews from, conservative bigots who actually don't live in Pittsburgh. I'm looking at them, they're like, Fargo, North Dakota. It's like, you have never been to Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
don't you lie to me and say that you've been to this black metal coffee house.
Yeah. That's so fucking... Dude, that's sweet.
It's awesome. So, I've only been there once, but it was like, hey, 5-star review, because these guys made me laugh a full year after the last time I've been there.
Yeah.
But, God, I don't remember where I was going with that. But, music in the future.
Indeed.
Doing it yourself and doing it with your friends. Even though I run a record label, Flowerpot Records, .bandcamp.com. We're on Store Envy. We're on Facebook, those
Check
things.
them out.
Check them out. We're on Tumblr.
Sweet. Get your karma up on Reddit, dude.
But yeah, I run a record label, so this might be the not the smartest thing to say, but you don't need a record label. It's 2017. You don't need anything or anyone. But help is nice. You could start your own record label. If you and your friends are making music that you think, wow, like no one's hearing this and I need people to hear this, make a Bandcamp. Like, put it all up on Bandcamp. Boom. Automatically copyrighted.
Yep.
And, put it for pay what you want. If you don't have any capital for recording, if you don't have any, means, have everyone that you know just record one of their songs on your iPhone or something. Like, take one of these fancy schmances, $50 at a, Zoom recorders and, just do it. That one's probably more than $50, but mine was a cheapo boy. But you don't need I had this argument with Zach Quinn of Pears, to name drop some more. I said the gear doesn't make the musician makes the gear.
Can you say that one more time for the people at home?
The gear doesn't make the musician makes the gear.
There you go.
Like I said, Kellen Bearden, one of my favorite songwriters of all time, has never owned an amp bigger than a Line 6 Spider, 15 watt. And if you've ever heard a 1098 recording, he doesn't use my amp. He doesn't use my Marshall. He doesn't use my Fender. He uses his Line 6 Spider because he's found a great tone for it. He's got a great, chill tone, and he's got a great, wrangled, mangled tone. And, as soon as you double it and add a bass guitar under it, it's perfect. It sounds great.
Right.
And one of the bands he was in was complaining, oh man, if only you had better gear. It's like, shut up.
He
writes the best songs. Yeah. Why does it matter? I found my guitar in a basement. I found my amp in the trash. I wouldn't have a Schecter Diamond Series and a Marshall, combo if I wasn't really lucky.
Right.
You don't. But Zach's argument was incredibly valid. Because my example was Sufjan Stevens recorded all of Illinois with 2 SM58s and an AKG condenser.
Hell yeah.
There was no full drum miking. There was no that gigantic orchestra? No. Yeah, I put an XY pair in front of them. Boom.
Yeah. What do you mean you didn't mic everyone? Dude, sometimes it's less is more, dude.
But his point was valid in the fact that he said, yes, he did that with all of those, but there are only so many tones you can get out of an SM58.
Right.
If you got yourself a $3,000 Neumann ribbon microphone at this $50 an hour studio going through Focusrite preamps, that sound would be different.
Right.
And you can't deny that. But my original point, you don't need it.
It's the song that
the All Over the Place album, I probably wouldn't have been as happy with it if I hadn't given it to Tyler and he wouldn't have put all the bells and whistles on it and actually mixed it, really, really well instead of me in GarageBand through some stereo speakers in my weird house I was squatting in. The musician makes the gear, but it's also wonderful to upgrade your gear.
It's very true.
So I see both sides of the argument, but I've never felt the need to update my personal rig. I got a $30 delay pedal about 4 months ago, and that's it. No, I think my whole setup is complete. I've got clean, gain, more gain, reverb. That's it. And it's great, and I love it.
How does one approach starting a label, a totally underground label such as Flowerpot? Or how did you approach it?
Well, I approached it. I didn't internet at all. I wasn't on Facebook until 2010, 2011 with Flowerpot Records. It was a lot of me sitting around the high school with a box of burned CDs and folded paper cases, being like, "Hey, CDs for $1." People made this music in your school. I think you should listen to it. Yeah. And that's been Flowerpot Records' thing the whole time. It's affordable. You go on our website, the only thing that's more than $10 is our vinyl. And
understandable.
Yeah, it costs $10 to make. If I don't sell them for $12, then I'm losing money, because shipping's like $250, like boom. But if you want to start a label, make a lot of music with a lot of friends, and then show it to a lot of people, and that's it. The more people know about it, the more people, will support it. Make a Facebook page, make a Tumblr, make an Instagram, make a Bandcamp, make a SoundCloud, whatever you are, if you're savvy in a circle, make the record label known in it. If you're a meme king, go to your meme page and post like, hey, I have a record label. It's nothing about memes, but this is what I want to do with my life, so get used to it. One of the members of Down They Fall, Grayson Prince, runs a meme page, and he uploaded our music video to it. Like, hey, you want to complain? Too bad, banned.
That's a good idea, because what me and a few other dudes are doing, because we did fun things on the internet.
Yeah.
And I'll just leave it at that for right now. And one of our fun endeavors was making those porn bot accounts. And
sick.
Every time somebody came out with a new album, put that shit on the porn account on Tumblr. So you're gonna have a percentage of people that are pissed that it's not porn. But then you'll have a very small but very interested
it's
group
like
of people
they
that are
turn
like,
it on and be
"Whoa,
like,
okay.
oh, okay, this is not what I expected from a porn blog, but like, I'll take it.
Right, exactly. They will take it any way they want. So
Yep.
there you go. Like the way that it's hard for me to convey it to people up here that because they've never seen this done before. I've been around, like been to Akron and these other DIY scenes. It wasn't until very recently that everybody started to actually see that, yes, if you throw a party in your basement or in your garage, it will work.
Yeah,
I know
these
it
places
sounds
have definitely
stupid, but
been
you
more
just gotta
hopping
do it.
in the last, 3-4 years, especially Akron. Akron
Yeah.
just blew up. I feel like Akron's, the place to be right now. Eddie G, Drew Baker.
Hive Mind, what's up?
Oh, Hive Mind.
Dude,
Oh,
Hive
my
Mind
favorite.
is sweet.
I can't believe I was about to not mention Ryan and Maggie at Hive Mind. Oh, my goodness. We're playing there 4-9 with the You Suck Flying Circus. Holy cow, that's going to be a wild show. I don't know what's going to happen.
I'll try to be there.
Sick.
Dude,
It's going to be, I think Kellen from All Over the Place is playing drums. Joey from All Over the Place is playing bass. Maggie from Hive Mind is playing Sing and Saw. Liam from River Dolphins playing some kind of piano and percussion or something.
Sweet.
It's going to be wild. We'll have a set list, but, I'm not sure what it is. It's going to be, song, noise, song, noise, song, and then maybe some more noise.
It's gonna be fucking dope. It's going to be sick. I'm gonna just go up there with my cameras and stuff because I've noticed that too through being like a promotion and event page. That is one of the missing links between the label and the general public is the literal distribution and marketing of said product itself.
Yeah.
And that's what I told a lot of my dudes too. That if I really push this, I'm still only going to be a event and promotion company that just kind of acts like a label. You know what I mean? It's like, if you guys want this to be in a coffee shop in Delaware that will play your shit, I will mail it to them right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I would rather be the big brother. At the show you went to, there were people that came in that night saying that they were A&R reps of a somewhat established label in this area. And then I talked to everybody in the crew. I was like, they're going to offer you money, but you might not want to take that, as we've already talked about this before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And warning everybody. So it's I'd rather be sort of a big brother that sort of helps everybody out.
Yeah.
Rather than your dad.
Yeah. If one of the dudes gets a contract, you're not going to be like, DIY or die and spit in their face.
Yeah,
you're going to be
exactly.
like, hey,
No, I'll
let me.
be happy for them,
you
but I'll let them
might
know
want
what
to
they're
get someone to
getting
read
into.
that.
Yeah. I'll tell them. I was like, yo, here's how. If you're signing a contract with me, that's only for that night, and that's it. Or if it's recording for an album to use my studio, that's it. Or if it's a video shoot, that is it. It's case by case basis.
Yeah.
I don't have your soul, dude, because I want everybody to still be friends.
Oh yeah.
That's why I see all these labels are getting fucked up because they're basically trying to enslave these bands and control them. Dude, what is wrong with you? Stop being so greedy and let people live.
Yeah.
Basically, Jesus. So when you guys play, I'll bring all my cameras and some of my lights too. I really want to interview people in the crowd and stuff like that, because then everyone will just be like, whoa.
Oh yeah.
There's a guy doing a story about this. He's like, yeah.
Hive Mind's really cool.
Yeah,
And
Hive Mind is the spot.
they got on, what was it, NPR the other day, and it was dang, Akron DIY. I just really, I want everyone else to get to that level. But I feel like with selling out as a concept, selling out is nothing. Selling out doesn't exist.
Right.
Doing something that you think will put food on your table because, like, you need to eat is not a thing that anyone should be ashamed of. Like, if someone came up to me today and was like, hey, you know that song that you never play anymore? I will give you $10,000 for all of the rights to that song right now. You never get to touch it. You never get to mention it. You never get to play it again. It's my song now. Mm-hmm. I'd probably say yeah. I mean, it depends on the song, I guess.
Yeah,
but like,
yeah.
You know, if I could put food on my plate and
Right,
not have to
right.
worry about, like, probably the next, like, 8 months of
Right,
work,
right.
like, the amount of financial stress that would alleviate is, you know, very worth mentioning. Like,
Exactly.
you see these bands like, oh, Modest Mouse wrote Float On and got in a Kia commercial. I can't remember what the commercial was. But, and everyone was crying, sell out, sell out, sell out.
Dude,
it's like,
no,
honestly, if
that's
you listen
good.
to the rest of that album, it's not very commercially. There's a lot of weird stuff on that album. Mm-hmm. And Modest Mouse has always been that, like, kind of weird band.
Modest Mouse is awesome.
They just found a way to market it.
Right.
And, like, that band at that time had 4 or 5 people. Like, you have to feed them when you're on tour as Modest Mouse, and you're on tour like 100 days out of 1995 through 1999, and you come home, you're like, oh my gosh, I have no money to pay my bills. Like, that's a stressor. That's the reason most people stop playing music. That's the reason the music industry broke up, because of this, like, they like, money when you're not on tour starts to get harder to come by.
Yep, you have to have multiple, coming at it again from a business perspective, I have multiple revenue streams.
Yeah.
Because I saw that problem coming up very, very, very early.
Mm-hmm.
And then I noticed that it was very easy to do once I did have, and I have at least 3 legitimate, I should say legitimate because I'm claiming taxes on it. Revenue streams right now. So it's like, okay, cool. Awesome. Now, if I do tour with, what's up, Pomade, Fresh Bucket, Casual Shandy, and the other Lake County crew, Hesh Mob, and my band, Not in the Daily, if we all tour, it's like, okay, cool. I can comfortably, I'm still going to tell everybody, just like in marching band, something that I learned is like, okay, guys, each of you should save up at least this much money before this date. I will buy X amount of hotel rooms, and we will sleep in these Walmart parking lots. But do not trash these hotel rooms, otherwise I will be pissed. You know what I mean? People don't realize that touring is very, very easy as long as you manage it and, like, think of, like, actually use your head, you know?
Yeah.
It's
book
not
it
just going
months
out
in
and
advance.
Exactly.
And don't just book, this is a mistake that I did a lot on my earlier tours. Don't just book the shows. Book the show, book a thing to do before the show, and book a place to sleep after the show.
Yep.
Like, make sure, like, if you don't want to, like, rent a hotel, if you know that you're not going to get a guarantee from the show or anything, find a place to stay with a friend or something. The guy promoting the show for you, if you say, hey man, do you have any leads on a place for us to stay that night? Odds are they will. Like, you don't have to ask, hey, can we crash at your house? It might be too forward. But, like, saving the money on, it's like, we use hotels as a treat yourself. Like, if we have a really, really good day and we make, like, way more money than we expected or something, then we'll rent a hotel room and we'll get a 30 rack and we'll party.
Right.
But if we, like, don't make anything and there's, like, no one at the show, then I'm just going to drop $50 out the band fund and we're going to get a hotel room and we're going to get a 30 rack and we're going to party.
Because we have to, dude. 'Cause some places, like, you'll go to tour and it's like, it's straight up, it's really fucking dangerous to, like, sleep in your car or to try to find some trustworthy people to hang with.
Yeah, and, like, if you're in Florida in the summer or New England in the winter, it's, like, dangerous to sleep in your car. Like, you'll suffocate and die or some shit.
Yeah, or there's just, like, violent homeless people. Like, whoo. All right. Yeah. What else was I gonna ask you? Oh yeah, are you in college? Are you in school right now?
I am not. I'm a big flunky.
How so?
I am the flunkiest of flunkies because I did 3 years and 9 months of college. I am 2 credits short of graduation.
Damn.
I ran out of. I failed 1 class at Capital. I made sure that
in Chicago?
No, Capital University in Columbus.
Oh, okay.
I made sure that I took, I planned it out in advance, like, all right, so I've never failed a class in my life. So long as I never fail a class, I'll be able to go through college every semester being like a 15, 16 credit hour semester, not too hard for me. And I failed 1 class. It was history of musical theater, and God, I can't even remember why I failed it. But I remember biting the bullet. I was just so anxious, so stressed, so tired of being in Columbus, away from like my family and my band and stuff. I just sort of gave up. I could have, gone into the dean's office and gotten on my knees and cried.
Right.
But I saw it, and it was like, oh, okay. So then I went to Tri-C because they've got a good recording program, and I go all the way through this class, and my just good enough policy bit me in the bootay again. I finished the final with an 80% on the gosh dang nose, because Capitol said they wouldn't accept a C. I got a B. And I looked, and I went to the guy, and I was like, hey, I'm going to take off early to finish the final. Is there anything left that I need to turn in? Anything that I am not completely up on? The guy said, no, you're good. Have a good rest of your life. Because he knew that I was supposed to be graduating with that. And one of the projects that I worked on, he knocked 1 point off because he didn't like the tone of my mix or something like that. It was like this really like benign little thing, but it dropped my grade down to a 79.4%, and I failed.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So now it's Tri-C.
Yeah.
I could do it.
Yeah,
but what I need is a full month free, a full month where I'm not leaving like anywhere for more than 1 day, because if you miss more than 1 day of a Tri-C class that's 3 days a week for 4 hours, then you don't get a B. You get a C like I did.
Yeah.
So I don't want to waste another $300, but I also don't want to put like touring on hold because I want to go back to school. So it's a big thing, but what I learned at Capitol and the recording workshop and Tri-C, you can't really reflect that with my grade because, like I said, I did good enough work. Now that I'm out of college, I'm doing, work that's up to my standard, work that I don't have to use to please other people other than the ones that have written the music. I think I got what I needed out of the college experience, and if I never go back, I'm not going to beat myself up. But my parents and my grandparents did give me graduation presents, and I use them pretty often. So,
were they mad that you didn't make it?
They weren't mad. My mom especially understood because, I had a real problem my junior year of college with so many things. I was with this girlfriend for 2.5 years. I went away for a month to the recording workshop, and she fell in love with the guy who replaced me at the radio station. Yeah, it was pretty outrageous.
Damn.
Yeah, and so I came back, still worked at the radio station because oh my gosh, it's it's radio, it's really fun.
Yeah.
Shout out to WXCU, Jenna and Chris and Tori, everyone who ran that stuff when I was in school. If you look at it now, oh my gosh, they really upgraded. We totally missed out, but I think the reason that I'm not going back isn't terrible. It's just not one that my grandparents want to accept. It's hey, it's $300. We gave you a $300 graduation present. Why didn't you graduate?
Yeah.
But and I know that my parents tell me I should, but it doesn't really matter what your parents think. It matters what you think. It matters what you know. And I know that my career is on a nice path right now. And if I were going to take a month off to go to school, it might not be the right thing.
Yeah, dude, I'm in the same I'm in the same boat. 15 credit hours, my dude, and then
don't fail a class.
Yeah, 15 credit hours, 3 jobs, and I'm supposed to be graduating in May. Dudes are trying the tour, shit's popping off. I'm talking to you. We're doing shows, been skating every freaking day, and I'm losing my brain over stuff. Because too, from a management perspective, this gets so stressful.
Yeah, and if you want to
really
have work
stressful.
when you come out of college, you got to be prepping right now.
Yeah. You have
to be making your work for yourself.
Yeah, you quite actually need to do it all on your own.
Yeah.
No one's going to sit there and babysit you at all.
You need to go to more shows. Yeah. You need to meet new people. Hey, I'm a recording dude.
Yeah.
Here's a discount on your first song.
Right, here's my business card.
Like, come hang out at my house, pet my cat, record a song.
Right.
It's going to be great.
Come and chill with my friends. We don't bite. Hang with us, damn it. Do it. I got a van. We're going to Arizona.
Yeah, like
trying to get everybody in on it.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go, dude.
Like, you know, every time we get drunk or something, we always circle back to the, like, oh, man. But if someone makes it first, like, everyone's going to make it. Yeah. Like, it's not like trickle-down Reaganomics or anything. It's a very direct, like... like when Green Day got signed, the first thing they did to amplify the voices of the marginalized was to put all gay bands, all women bands on the bills before them on their Dookie tour.
Nice.
Like, if I were to, like, make it big, all the solo people and all over the place whose projects, like, are still growing, they would grow too. And, like, I would like to use my voice to be like, oh, you know, we're like, there are bands out there that aren't like 5 straight white dudes yelling about relationships. Like, and
basically,
it's amazing.
The power chords behind it.
Oh yeah. But I mean, like, there's nothing like wrong with that. It's just that I see it a lot, and I don't see people from marginalized groups like overly represented in our music scene, and I'd like to see that change. But
that would be cool.
I'd like to think that if we got big, as All Over the Place or 1098 or Flashback Humor, what have you, that we would use the amplified platform to do something useful.
Right. That would be sick. That's all I can say.
That would be sick.
That would be sick. Where... This will be interesting. Do you think that... well, I guess the first question is that history and sort of pop culture is cyclical.
Yeah.
So cyclical pop culture. And then the second question is, do you think we are seriously circling back to, like, the time of... a time between almost the 20s, but almost the 60s and 70s in terms of music?
Like a grand awakening kind of thing.
Yes, because people are remembering that analog gear might sound cool, or not even the divide between analog and digital, but between, look, the gear doesn't matter, it's about the song.
Yeah.
Look, yes, I do live out of my van, and we're going to go play in this farm. Like, look, we are a band, you know, stuff like that. People are waking up to, what does he do? Oh, that dude skates and he's in a band. What does he do? Oh, he surfs. Oh, okay, cool. It's no longer seen as, like, a trashy thing. It's like, what do you do? Oh, yeah, it's my dude, he paints. Isn't he a busboy? Yeah, but he paints. Like,
the busboy's not the important part.
Exactly.
Like, I mow lawns in the summer and I shovel snow in the winter.
Exactly.
Like, you know, to make enough. And, like, I never say I'm a lawnmower when I talk to people. I say I'm in a band. I'm in 17 and counting bands.
Right. Like, do you see that... do you see that coming back? Like, whenever I love looking at, like, the old Woodstock footage, like, all these dudes are just, like, hanging out.
I feel like the cultural renaissances are a really weird thing. I feel like, on that subject, I feel like there's never going to be another Beatles. I feel like there's never going to be another Michael Jackson.
Right.
A musician that completely and totally upends what was supposed to, like, something that just absolutely blows every single person on planet Earth's mind.
Right.
They're like, the people aren't outselling Bad right now. People aren't outselling Dark Side of the Moon. People aren't outselling Abbey Road, and it's partially because people don't buy music anymore. Or like, but it's also because the world changes.
Yeah.
And as much as things are cyclical, there are things that won't ever match up the way they did. Like Bernie Sanders, 2016. There won't be another 2016, and there won't be another Bernie Sanders. There will be someone else, but his reign of his sphere of influence as a presidential candidate can't be recaptured in 4 years.
Right. And all the dudes that were so down with that.
Yeah.
Like,
because the DNC, I'm gonna get political.
Yes, dude. Do it. The dude built a freaking wall, man.
The dude wants to build a wall. The dude has spent his whole time just talking about how women aren't pretty if they're not skinny, and how, you know, immigrants, some I assume are wonderful people, but of course he mentioned the rapists, murderers, and drug dealers first. Not say Mexico City's full of wonderful people and just leave it at that. You can't just do that. You could never do that as Donald Trump. You can't just say something nice and not give a but.
Yeah.
If he stopped after I like China instead of some of my best friends are Chinamans. I've bought a house from a Chinaman. I love the Chinamans. It's like, oh, dude.
Yeah.
It's like when someone like really, really, really tries to prove to me that they're really, really cool with me being non-binary. It's like, I didn't need your affirmation. Actually, I'm my own person, and I'm proud of who I am.
And then you get your own stigma of them because they're trying
and now
to
it's
say,
like, okay, so you're saying I'm not homophobic, but it's like, wait, stop right there. Stop, hold on one second.
I get it all the time. I'm not racist, but
oh
like,
God, okay.
All right, dude. All right. For those of you listening, once again, I am, I suppose, a person of color. I'm more of a frappuccino. Would you say frappuccino?
I'd call you a person of color.
Yeah, there we go. All right, I'm purple. Yep, exactly. I am purple. But yeah, like in terms of music too, it's just like whenever something crazy in like politics happens, it's interesting seeing everyone's creative take on it. Once again, I say this all the time. I love the Dead Kennedys, and at the time when that was going off, and like, or even Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
You know, all of the social things going on, like Vietnam. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Berlin
Wall sort of thing, and then you have all of these creatives that are just like, dude, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. And then everybody loves Bob Ross, so like, dude, you know Bob Ross used to be a drill instructor.
Yeah.
Like,
he wanted to calm down. He wanted to give back.
Yeah. Like, it's so crazy. And like, I'm sort of personally feeling it that like, we might be on the edge of something big again.
I don't think it's going to be a worldwide craze like jazz, and I don't think it's going to be like an era of gigantic pop stars.
Exactly.
But I think it's going to be something, and I don't know what it is. I'd love it to be like dudes that record albums in their garages, because then I'd see a gigantic upswing in my in my popularity.
I would just love to see that, because like the only reason, like right now, I was originally planning to move to Cincinnati and just restart.
Yeah.
But since I saw that like there's potential here in Lake County, I decided not to.
Yeah. I mean,
it's catching up, like a little bit, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I just gotta stick with it, because I would love to actually have this place become like another Chicago, or like New York or LA, minus the crap.
Yeah, I would love Cleveland and its surrounding areas to be mentioned as a good scene again.
Exactly.
Because I see so many bands, and I know you see it too, on their tour rosters of Detroit, Michigan, Columbus, Ohio, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Yep.
No,
you were so
once
close.
More thwarted.
Yeah, and then the only way you get those somewhat big band or like modern baseball in is like somebody,
Bravo artists.
Yes, or somebody at a house show like messages them on Instagram like, dude, I will PayPal you right now. Play in my basement. Let's go.
Yeah.
And then there you go. Now they're on the tour.
And that's another thing that I'm back and forth on, because like people like Bravo artists, they do a lot of stuff to like they book these big bands and they get new locals to open for them, and I think that's really cool. But I don't know if it's my thing. I feel like the more ticket sale shows I play, the less people want to come, because I run a house venue.
Yeah,
you could see me play for free in Cleveland anytime you want.
Yeah.
So I guess I wrecked that for myself. No one wants to pay ticket sales to see us in Cleveland unless the show's just like, you know, if the show's a $10 show, they will go to the show.
Yeah.
But like, I have seen a huge downswing in people who are willing to buy in advance $10 tickets.
That's why I only do covers, dude. Because I know the sort of guarantee from the crews that always come in.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be throwing another festival this summer. Shout out to Chopper Fest dudes. We're about to have Chopper Fest 2.
Chopper Fest 2?
Yeah. Seriously, dude, last year, Chopper Fest, it happened out on my dude's farm in an undisclosed location.
Ooh.
But roughly 130 people.
That's tight.
All night. First day. Fucking ridiculous.
That's awesome.
Had music from like 4 to 1 a.m. And then just bonfires. And like everyone, it was like little village of tents. So for the second one too, I upgraded all my gear. I know more bands, you know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a few of my dudes from New York, Chicago, other parts of Ohio come up in there, and just blow it out, dude. We had problems parking because we had so many people.
See, that's great.
It was sweet. And it was a free event. That's the thing, too. I want stuff like that to be free so people at least know about it.
Yeah, so people buy merch. Like,
yeah.
Like, if you spend all your money getting into the show, then how are you going to actually support the bands?
Exactly.
Like, that $10 cover, not all of it goes to the bands. I've headlined shows before where I've sold, like, $10 tickets, tickets, and I've gotten $1 per ticket.
Yeah.
And I get handed a $20 bill for all of my efforts, and it doesn't seem correct.
Right.
That Bravo artist or, guerrilla music. Okay,
Oh,
I can't compare those two.
All right, yeah,
I'm gonna reject
that's
that.
gonna have
Bravo
to be a totally
artist,
different podcast.
Bravo artist
dude.
is not guerrilla music.
Or I was gonna say
I'm talking
So Far Sounds.
Yeah,
too,
I'm talking
coming up.
promotion companies in general.
Yeah.
I love you, Bravo artist. I'm sorry, Alex. I'm sorry, Michelle. I love Bravo artist, but I'd say it's more with the like pay to play stuff that guerrilla music gets into that really is detrimental to scenes. The stuff that Bravo artist does gives other bands a platform, and the stuff that guerrilla music did really didn't help anyone.
Hold on now. If anything, it made it abundantly clear.
Yeah, that DIY should be bigger.
Exactly, and then that's how I met so many bands, because I hit up everybody from all of those battles of the bands. I was like, yo, I'm throwing a house show. You guys are trying to come? And that's
you
how
don't have to sell 30 tickets.
Exactly. I was like, you don't have to do anything. Just come over. Yeah. Like,
But
even when we do this next festival, the only thing I would charge for is parking. And even with that, I'm not charging an arm and leg. It's $5. If you can cram all your dudes into one car, $5.
Boom.
There you go. And that I'm splitting that with the guy that actually owns the place. So there you go. It's nothing outrageous.
Yeah.
Do what you want to do. And if you do drive and you plan on getting screwed up, we have a bin with everybody's keys.
Oh,
sign in,
smart.
keep the keys. Yeah, I don't drink and I don't smoke, and I know people want to have a good time, so it's like, let me just at least make sure that everybody's safe,
That's admirable.
So it's like, come get fucked up responsibly.
Yeah.
Come on, dude. Check out some local shit. Come buy their shit. Let's do it. I don't know why nobody else is doing it for whatever reason. Just do it.
We have people stay on our couches like after every show.
Yeah.
It's like, you get to drive, and they're like, it's like sleep on the couch.
Yeah. But the Ohio, it would be so cool to see like Vice, like come to Hive Mind or like talk to us about some stuff.
Yeah.
Just like, what's going on in Ohio?
What's going on?
What is this thing that you guys are doing? We're just dudes being guys, being dudes doing music.
Friends being pals, being kids, being
stuff.
Friends.
Yeah. Do you have any venues or locations you would love to play in? Because I'm going to start hosting shows on like the edges of certain cliffs, and I know an empty riverbed.
Oh, that's sick. Oh man, that would be really cool.
I like being weird with it.
I saw a video from The World's a Beautiful Place when they signed to Epitaph. They had this big old thing where they ran through their set into this gigantic monolithic church with just huge like old TVs blaring static and stuff all around it, and like candles lit everywhere. It was just amazing. I really want to do live sessions in a place like that. I want to find a place that's just huge and expansive, because I love doing sessions in my basement. I love it. It's just so exciting to like, how many people can we cram in here?
Right.
But I feel like doing sessions in a gigantic room would be my next like thing that I would want to do.
That would be sweet. I've been trying to plan out some live session videos myself too, along with the riverbed. Something simple like a roof, parking garage. Apparently there is a way to get into the sewer, the clean part of the sewer, so that would... Dude. It's game on right there. That's going to be slick. Or like another sort of marketing one. I'm going to talk to the city to see if we can do beach shows. I don't know if you know, but we're very close to the lake right now.
Yeah.
Menor Headlands is like 10 minutes from here. Just going to come out with some plywood, throw a rug over it, bring out my generator. All over the place on the beach with pomade, fresh bucket, and everybody.
Boom. That'd be tight.
Once again, a free show. If anything, I'm throwing down on the gas to run the generator. That's it. I just want people to come up and see it.
Just honestly,
nobody's doing it.
Just making I was thinking about this the other day. Themed shows always seem to do better.
They do.
Like,
people love getting into that.
Like Blank Slate has been really good with it. They had 5 Minute Fest. They had Big Pajama Party. They had a Halloween show where everyone does covers and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, they're doing these themed events it raises so much more awareness. Like the first couple Sunnyvale shows we had, we went out and got like 20 burgers from Burger Bing, and we it's Sunnyvale. You gotta have cheeseburgers.
Yeah.
We got a kitty, and we got a guy down the street who kind of looks like Bubbles, and like.
Really?
Yeah. He's their friend Jared King.
Hell yeah.
He looks like he can.
Trailer
like
Park
he's
Boys.
got huge glasses, and he'll like button up a flannel and like just hold a kitty.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
You guys gotta get a fucking mustard glass.
Oh my god. When we moved into this house, one of the stipulations of getting it for so cheap was that none of the furniture that was in it had to be moved out. So we go through this stuff, and our neighbors warned us, like, hey, this house used to be like a drug house. We're not talking, we sell some meat to some fans. We're talking a drug house.
Yeah,
if you find guns in this house or like drugs in this house, you should call the police. It's like, oh wow, party. Like,
oh wow.
Like, I don't want to touch a gun, and I don't want to touch a hard drug. I don't want. I'm not interested. But we haven't found anything. Apparently, the only thing that someone found was one of the things that like the neighbors just took away before giving it to us was a dresser, and it had like a gun magazine in it.
Wow.
And it was just like, who was using that for what? Like. In this house, because like I'm pretty sure the people that lived in it before us were like 80, 85. I'm pretty sure they like died there. Like I remember just trying to piece together. Like I think the guy used to be a drug lord and then found Jesus and lived out his wife happily with his wife, and then died, and I got his house. I think.
Hopefully.
But like, we're just trying to piece it together from all the like hearsay around the neighborhood and all the like weird stuff we're finding. And the thing that Jesse and Noah love to say, because we found a vibrator in one of the dressers. Yeah. And they were like, oh yeah, there's a ghost of a dead lady in here who died masturbating.
And then there's a magazine. Was the magazine in the same dresser? You said that was...
No, different dresser.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, you got a vibrator in one drawer, and you got fucking...
if I remember correctly, the vibrator was in the desk that I used for my recording now. Like, it was just like going through the drawers, like, what the fuck is this? And like... We went through a period where like we'd just like hide at places, and like you'd like walk by a window and it'd be in the sill, and, like
it's after you.
it'd be on the bookshelf, and like I don't want to touch it. Like,
did you guys wash it off?
I don't want to touch it. I kind of just sort of like
grab something else.
Like grab something else to grab it with and like put it places, because like no one wants to touch the mystery vibrator. No one wants to touch a sex toy that's not theirs, that also isn't any of their friends. Yeah, came with the house. Like, weird.
Well, speaking of weird, you guys were listening to the Pleasant Valley Podcast. Yeah, thank you guys for listening. Once again, what is your name, my good sir?
Wes Meadows.
From what band?
All over the place. Flashback Humor, 1098, Down They Fall, Mecca G, Younger, the You Suck Flying Circus, Get Drunk, and more.
Do you have anything special you'd like to say to everybody before we leave this great place?
Noodle, doot.
Righteous dudes. I'm Avery. We're coming at you live from a coffee shop in downtown Willoughby. I'll let you guys figure out which one it is, but they were here first. So, have a good day. Aloha. This will be out tonight. Today is Sunday, March 26th. Peace out.